Hello. Hello out there. Happy Saturday to you. I hope everyone's having a great weekend, relaxing weekend, if that's what you want, energizing weekend, but whatever you're doing, I hope you're having fun. All right. So, welcome to A Course in Miracles 365, Awakening to Love. I'm your host, Tomás Garza. And as we've been doing for the last few days here, we're reviewing a couple of ideas from the workbook for students. As you've noticed here, if you're following along or if you've done this before, the workbook has a series of 20 or 30 daily ideas. It refers to those as a lesson. And the idea is something that we contemplate and practice. And following 20 or 30 ideas, there's a period of review where we have the opportunity to go back over material that we've previously worked on. And the idea is exactly the same as it would be in a conventional academic setting, is to get a different take on the material, to get a different viewpoint, because you're literally different than the day when you encountered this material for the first time. So with that different viewpoint, we aim to come to a deeper understanding of these ideas, which are expressions of truth with a capital T. So they're all very short ideas. They're quite easy to repeat. Now, whether you remember to recite them during the day or to think about them during the day, it's a completely different question, of course, but they're all very short and they're very memorable. So it's well worth the time and the effort on the path to go back through this material. If you were studying for a final exam at school or at university, for example, unless you were a complete genius, you would probably want to go back over your materials before taking the final. Happily, in A Course in Miracles, there is no final exam, there's no midterm, there are no periodic tests along the way. Rather, there are opportunities for us to apply what we've learned. These are opportunities for forgiveness. These are opportunities for us to show up in a loving manner, as love, having chosen love over fear. In every situation, every moment of every day presents us with just such an opportunity. The more of these you can recognize as an opportunity, the more you can capitalize on, and the more, and also, I might add, the more quickly your experience changes. That is how all of this works. So, A Course in Miracles in the workbook repeats ideas. That's what we're doing today, with the thought and the hope that you'll see them differently and be inspired to apply them. It's where the action always is in the application. So that does mean, if you're following along, that you don't have to necessarily believe these ideas, and I invite you to question them. I can't say that enough. As a teacher, I invite questions. I mean, if your spiritual path does not have you questioning the very foundations of everything that you now believe, then it's worth examining whether you're truly on that path at all. No? So, with that said, we'll jump right into the material here with lesson 149 in the workbook. But I do want to, of course, invite you to feel welcome to comment here. This is something that's very, very important. And it's a wonderful component of having a live stream and a live broadcast is the ability to interact with me and my ability to interact with you, and also the ability to reach each other live. And this is something that I also can't say often enough, is that you never know who you're going to benefit through your own questions, through your own interaction, because certainly, without doubt, there's somebody here in this world who has the exact same questions as you do. And when you ask them, you might benefit this person, you might give them a moment of clarity, an aha moment. You might provide them with some motivation, with a question that they can ask themselves, with a spark that sets them on a completely different trajectory in their path. And that's a beautiful thing. And that actually is going to tie right into one of the ideas that we're going to look at here for review in the workbook today. So feel welcome to hop on, feel welcome to say hello, and yeah, give us a shout out here. We appreciate that. Lesson 149. So as you know, in this review period, each one's different, by the way, we're instructed to spend some time contemplating this thought. My mind holds only what I think with God. From this standpoint, we then contemplate two review ideas, which we'll get to in a moment. My mind holds only what I think with God. This means that our mind holds only loving thoughts. It truly holds only loving thoughts, joy, happiness, limitlessness, forgiveness, true abundance, most definitely, right? That is all our mind contains. That's all it holds. It doesn't hold anything else. This is another way of looking at the summary of A Course in Miracles. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Therein lies of God. It's another way of saying that. That's from the introduction to the text of A Course in Miracles. And really, it is a concise and very accurate summary of this material, because that statement can be recast in many, many ways. This is one of them. So from this standpoint, spending some time contemplating this, we embark upon some contemplation of the review ideas for today. There are two of them. So specifically, these are lessons 137 and 138 in the workbook. Lesson 137, when I am healed, I am not healed alone. Yeah, let's sit with this one, shall we? When I am healed, I am not healed alone. Now, there is a part of us deep inside that recognizes the truth of this statement. No question about it. So let's break it down. Why is it that when I'm healed, I'm not healed alone? Well, in A Course in Miracles, speaking about truth, healing takes place at the level of the mind. And minds are joined. It's another way of saying we are, in truth, one. Therefore, this is the part that intuitively we all get, whether we choose to acknowledge it or not. I mean, that's that's absolutely a different story, isn't it? We can deny things all we want. We're really good at that. Are we not? Yeah, we are. Because minds are joined, Healing takes place at the level of the mind. When you heal, when you forgive, when you heal your unconscious guilt, when you heal fear-based thoughts, you are not healed alone. Other people benefit. This is the part that intuitively we all get. We all get this. If I make a decision to heal myself, let's just use my immediate household as an example. When I heal fear-based thoughts, my wife benefits. How could she not? How could she not? I'm calmer. For one, I'm happier, more joyful. How can one not benefit from that? And that's just within the same household. Everyone that you encounter benefits, and people all over the world benefit. It raises the collective vibration. That's one way of putting it, right? It raises the collective vibration when one person makes the decision for healing, when one person forgives. Let that be you today. And also, by extension, know that when someone else on the other side of the planet makes the decision to forgive, to heal, you also benefit. We all benefit from love. Does that sound obvious? Well, it should, right? It should. And why do we need to hear that? Because we choose to ignore that. Sometimes I think it's not so much that we choose to disbelieve it, we just acknowledge the truth of this, but choose to ignore it. We choose not to apply it. Instead, we go off and do our thing. In other words, the ego's thing, which gets us a whole lot of nothing, doesn't it? Yeah. So when I'm healed, I am not healed alone. Never am, and neither are you. And that's a happy thing. Therefore, the more of us working on spiritual practice, the more of us that are forgiving, the more of us that are actively awakening to the truth of who we are, the better. We're raising the collective vibration. That's a popular way of saying it. It's a popular way of saying we're all walking each other home, which is true, of course. When I'm healed, I'm not healed alone. So the next idea is lesson 138. And, well, these are sometimes ideas that challenge us on the surface, but deep down, we feel them, intuitively feel them to be true. Lesson 138. Heaven is the decision I must make. Must. Heaven is the decision I must make. So, what I invite you to do is adopt a very broad, the broadest possible view here. In Buddhism, we call it the view. Yeah. Point of view of ultimate truth, which of course is beyond words or symbols or live streams, live broadcasts. It's beyond YouTube. It's beyond consciousness itself. It's where we're all headed. So adopting this viewpoint, we all not only must decide for heaven, but we will. It is each of our destiny to awaken. All of us. That's going to happen. Now, it might not happen today, and it may not happen for you in this lifetime, and that's okay. The Course is very, very clear about the point that the purpose of time is for us to awaken. And the overwhelming majority of us are doing this gradually. So we have moments of connection, and then we fall back down into our habitual conditioning and patterning, and we start blaming and judging each other. We lash out in anger, fear, and rage, stuff like that, right? Yeah, in other words, what we call the human experience. Heaven is a decision that we must make. Now, heaven is not a place. It's not an elaborate garden under which rivers flow. It is not a castle in the sky. And even though some of us would like not to believe this, nor is it a tropical beach with a beach bar and unlimited daiquiris and margaritas and cold beer in warm waters. Tropical, of course. Yeah, it's not that either. It's not a place at all. It's nonetheless our home. It's an experience. It's constant. It is what is, simply is. We say in A Course in Miracles, God is. And leave it at that. Literally, God is, period. Love is. Heaven is our natural state of being as one with God. So it's not a garden, it's not a mountaintop, it's not a tropical beach with the bar with free drinks. It's none of those things. In fact, it's not a thing at all. It's a decision that we know that we must make. Spiritual practice is something that we're all going to become involved in now. You're involved in it. There's no going back. This is the destiny of each of us. And what we can do is save ourselves time. We can save ourselves countless lifetimes and a lot of suffering and frustration. So whether you believe in more than one lifetime or not actually doesn't make any difference. If you choose, think about it from the point of view of your current lifetime, what we call our current existence in the world. You can make your life better by choosing love. And it may very well happen that events that could harm you, accidents that may befall you, will not occur if you make a different decision in the present moment. If you choose not to lash out at your partner in anger, instead open up a gap where you can choose differently, it naturally follows that your next experience will be vastly different than if you lashed out in hatred, no matter how tempted you may be. It's just one example, and the world dishes up so many of them. All right. So, heaven is the decision that we all must make. It's where we're all going, in a manner of speaking. It's the truth of who we are. So the sooner we decide for that, the sooner we make that decision, the happier. Everybody, right? Everyone. Yeah, not just you, yourself. Remember, there is no separation of any kind. Okay, so it's so much fun for me to go back over these ideas more than once here because, well, as is the case in any teaching situation, I always learn so much from showing up, turning on the camera and the microphone and talking to you. And I do hope that you're gaining something of value from this live stream that benefits you and your spiritual practice. And it looks like a couple of you are on the live stream. So I want to take a couple of moments and say hello. All right, Elaine Matz is watching. Es cierto. Sí, es cierto. Todo, todo. Yeah, it is true. Translation. Yes, what we're talking about in the Course is truth with a capital T. We're talking about a presentation of what is. Yeah. And for those of us that are watching in the Spanish language, I want to make sure that you leave comments or questions in Spanish. I am bilingual in English and Spanish, by the way. So yeah, please feel welcome to do that. Para los que hablan español, por favor, dejen comentarios o preguntas aquí en Facebook, porque hablo español y estoy completamente dispuesto de ayudar en cualquier manera que pueda. Okay? Yeah. Please feel free, no matter what language you speak, to leave comments or questions here in the comment thread. This is my intention to help create a community. It's the intention of Enlightened World Network to create a global community. And we really, literally are that. We've had people tuning into this show from all over the world. So wherever you're tuning in from, even if you're catching me on the replay here, feel welcome to say hello here in the comments, leave questions for me. I'm more than happy to answer those. Okay. And this is something it's really quite a lot of fun for me. And I love the interaction. So some days there's quite a lot of it. And I love that. Yeah. Elaine, okay. Yeah, you're totally bilingual too. Ajá, pero me encanta el español. Yo también. Ajá, a mí me encanta mucho. Hay un ritmo y flow, ¿verdad? Con el lenguaje español. Con este idioma, sí. Hay un ritmo y hay flow. Qué bonita cosa. Yeah, in the Spanish language, what I just said is there's a rhythm and the flow. That's a beautiful thing. Oh, yeah. Most definitely. So in whatever language you want to leave the comments, questions, feel welcome to do so. And guys, I will be back here on Monday. We have one more review lesson in the workbook for students before we launch into another series of daily ideas that presents a new idea in the workbook. And you'll find, no matter what your spiritual practice is or looks like, that they're not really new. There's something deep within you that gets stirred, recognition. Saying, oh, yeah, that's true. Lights come on. Yeah, turn them all on. As many as you can at once. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me here today. And I will see you back here